Public speaking is not a talent reserved for a lucky few. It is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with awareness, practice, and the right approach. Many people believe great speakers are simply born confident, fluent, and fearless, but the truth is much more encouraging. Even experienced speakers began with nervous voices, shaky hands, and uncertain thoughts. What makes the difference is not perfection. It is preparation, clarity, and connection. In this video, we will explore practical, simple ways to become a better public speaker. Whether you speak in meetings, presentations, classrooms, interviews, or on stage, these ideas can help you speak with more confidence, structure, and impact. Public speaking is one of the most valuable communication skills you can build. It helps you express ideas clearly, influence others, teach, inspire, and lead. And public speaking does not only mean standing on a stage in front of hundreds of people. It includes speaking in meetings, presenting a proposal, teaching a topic, sharing ideas in a group, or even introducing yourself with confidence. The better you become at speaking, the more effectively you can make your ideas heard. Good public speaking is not about sounding dramatic or trying to impress people. It is about helping people understand you, trust you, and remember what you say. The first step to becoming a better public speaker is to stop treating nervousness as a sign of failure. Almost everyone feels nervous before speaking. Even skilled speakers feel some tension. A faster heartbeat, dry mouth, or butterflies in the stomach do not mean you are bad at speaking. They simply mean you care. Instead of fighting nervousness, learn to work with it. Take a slow breath. Stand still for a moment. Remind yourself that your goal is not to be flawless. Your goal is to communicate clearly. When you stop demanding perfection from yourself, your nervousness becomes easier to manage, and your focus shifts back to your message. One of the biggest reasons speakers struggle is that they try to say too much. A better speaker begins with one clear message. Ask yourself, what is the one thing I want my audience to understand, feel, or remember? When that becomes clear, everything else becomes easier. Your examples, your structure, and your delivery all improve when your message is focused. A confused speaker often confuses the audience. A clear speaker guides them with confidence. Before preparing any talk, reduce your message to one main idea. If you can explain your message simply to yourself, you are far more likely to explain it well to others. A good speech becomes easier to deliver when it has a simple structure. You do not need a complicated format. A very effective structure is this. First, tell people what you are going to talk about. Then, explain your main points clearly, one at a time. Finally, end by reinforcing the main takeaway. This creates flow and makes it easier for the audience to follow you. Think of your speech as a guided journey. If you jump from point to point without order, people get lost. But when your ideas are arranged logically, you sound more confident and your audience stays engaged. Simplicity is not weakness. Simplicity is clarity. Many people prepare for a speech by thinking through it silently. That helps a little, but real improvement comes when you practice out loud. Speaking aloud helps you hear awkward phrases, improve timing, and become more familiar with your own voice. You begin to notice where you rush, where you hesitate, and where you need a pause. Practicing aloud also reduces fear because the speech starts feeling more familiar. You do not need to memorize every word. In fact, memorizing word for word can make you sound stiff. Instead, know your main points and practice expressing them naturally. The goal is not to sound recited. The goal is to sound ready. A stronger speaking voice does not mean a louder voice. It means a clearer and more controlled voice. Good speakers vary their pace, tone, and pauses. If you speak too quickly, people may miss your message. If you speak in a flat tone, they may lose interest. Slow down slightly. Breathe between ideas. Emphasize key words naturally. Use pauses instead of filling silence with or you know. A pause can make you sound thoughtful and confident. Record yourself if possible and listen with curiosity, not self-criticism. Over time, you will learn how to sound calmer, clearer, and more engaging.
Public speaking is not only about words. Your body speaks too. Your posture, gestures, facial expression, and eye contact all influence how people receive your message. Stand upright but relaxed. Avoid looking stiff or frozen. Let your hands move naturally to support what you are saying. Make eye contact across the room instead of staring at one spot. If your body language matches your words, you appear more sincere and confident. But if your body looks tense, closed, or distracted, your message becomes weaker. You do not need dramatic gestures. You simply need presence. Calm, open body language makes a powerful difference.
A common mistake in public speaking is becoming too self-focused. You start wondering, how do I look? Do I sound nervous? Am I making mistakes? This kind of attention increases anxiety. A better approach is to shift your focus toward the audience. Ask, what do they need from me right now? What would help them understand this better? How can I make this useful and engaging? When you focus on serving the audience, you speak with more generosity and less fear. Public speaking becomes easier when you stop seeing it as a performance and start seeing it as communication. Facts inform people, but stories help them connect. If you want to become a better public speaker, learn to use simple examples, short stories, or relatable situations. A story makes your message easier to imagine and remember. It also helps the audience feel involved. The story does not need to be dramatic. It can be a brief, real-life moment, an observation, or a practical example that illustrates your point. When people can picture what you are saying, they listen more closely. A good speaker does not overload the audience with information. A good speaker helps ideas come alive through meaning and relevance. Every speaker makes mistakes. You may forget a point, repeat a phrase, mispronounce a word, or lose your place. What matters is not whether a mistake happens. What matters is how you respond. If you stay calm, the audience usually stays calm too. Pause. Smile if appropriate. Return to your point and continue. Most audiences are more supportive than we imagine. They are not waiting for perfection. They are listening for value. Ironically, speakers often become more credible when they recover naturally from small mistakes. It shows composure. Public speaking improves greatly when you stop fearing errors and start trusting your ability to recover. Confidence in public speaking is not built in one day. It grows through repetition. Each time you speak, you learn something. Perhaps you improve your opening. Perhaps you pace yourself better. Perhaps you discover that the audience responds warmly when you speak more naturally. Small, repeated speaking experiences build real confidence. Start where you are. Speak in small groups. Contribute more in meetings. Record short practice videos. Volunteer for brief presentations. Confidence grows from evidence. And the more experience you collect, the more your mind begins to believe, I can do this. Better public speaking comes from consistent practice, not sudden transformation.
Preparation reduces anxiety and improves performance. Before speaking, know your topic, understand your audience, and think about how much time you have. If possible, get familiar with the room or format in advance. Even a few minutes of preparation can help you feel more settled. Review your opening and closing especially well, because the beginning and end leave the strongest impression. Also, think about likely questions or points of confusion. When you are prepared, you speak with more calm and authority. Preparation is not about overloading yourself. It is about giving yourself a strong foundation so your speaking feels steadier and more natural.
People remember not only what you said, but how you made them feel. This does not mean you need to be dramatic or overly emotional. It means speaking with sincerity, warmth, and genuine involvement.
When you care about your message, your audience senses it. Let your tone reflect meaning. Show interest in the topic. Be human. A speaker who sounds real creates stronger connection than one who sounds polished but distant. Logic helps people understand, but emotion helps them care. When you combine clear ideas with authentic presence, your speaking becomes far more impactful and memorable.
Becoming a better public speaker is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming a clearer, calmer, and more confident version of yourself. You do not need a perfect voice, perfect memory, or perfect style. You need a clear message, steady practice, audience awareness, and the willingness to improve one step at a time. Every talk is an opportunity to grow. Every speech teaches you something. And over time, the fear that once held you back becomes much smaller. Public speaking may always require courage, but it also becomes deeply rewarding. The more you practice, the more your voice becomes a tool for influence, connection, and leadership. Becoming a better public speaker does not happen through magic. It happens through clear thinking, regular practice, and the courage to keep showing up. You do not need to eliminate every trace of nervousness. You simply need to speak with more purpose, more preparation, and more connection. Start small, improve steadily, and trust the process. The more often you speak, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your voice becomes stronger, your delivery becomes clearer, and your confidence becomes real. Public speaking is not about being perfect in front of people. It is about communicating something meaningful in a way people can understand and remember. And that is a skill anyone can build.